Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. Just a forewarning to everyone that today will be our last show of the week because, of course, Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy Turkey Day to everyone. And then Friday we will have off as well. But we will be playing a best of Computer America. And, you know, I think today's show is going to be really great. We have a longtime listener, and he finally came out with a new product, and I'm super excited to hear what he has developed and what he's been working on, and, because it's almost kind of like family coming to you with a project. So it's going to be very, very cool. So sit back and relax as we have a whole hour of the Computer America
Your show will go live in 5
starting
seconds.
now.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Grossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. And I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. And yeah, for those of you who haven't heard, we are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. We really like doing that, and we really like bringing you new gadgets, new technology, new stories, or even interviews with companies that you've heard of from your day-to-day. And today we have a new company here for you and a longtime listener, but we're going to be talking about the HELO device, and it's a smart wearable that is going to provide you a lot of information and then much more to fix those problems. So here we go. We're going to start here in just a moment. But before we get to our guests today, I think instead we are going to let me first. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. ComputerAmerica.com, super important because at the website you will find everything you need to know about today's guests and more. And of course, we will have a link right there on our homepage to today's guests and their product and their website. So if you're driving, if you're exercising, if you're doing your thing, you do not have to worry about having to write anything down because we will have it there on Computer America very simply. Also, at Computer America, you will find all the links to social media where you can follow those and enter for a chance to win a prize from our friends over at Logitech, where we are giving away every week a Keys to Go keyboard, and that is a $70 value. It's a Bluetooth keyboard, very, very nice. I have one myself. It's a really, really fantastic keyboard for someone who is traveling. It's very water resistant and things like that. So with that being said, all you have to do is go to social media, give us a like, follow, subscribe, wherever we may be, and you are entered to win that contest. Just that simple. Now, with that being said, I don't want to spend too much time with this preamble. Oh, and though I mentioned it in kind of the pre-show thing, but for those radio listeners out there, tomorrow and Friday, Computer America will be on, but Computer America will be best ofs. They will be reruns of the show. So do not tune in tomorrow or Friday expecting brand new Computer Americas. So just want to get that out there because we will have the week off from here on out. So let's kick off the last show of the week here with a longtime listener, and again his name is Kyle Thrower. And for those of you who have been around and listening to Computer long enough, who know the chat room, Las Vegas guy, very nicely. So we have Kyle Thrower and Mr. Marfil Regaspi, and I'm sure I mispronounced that, but I tried my best. So yeah, and they are here with World Global Network of America, and yeah, they have a new product called HELO, but that's HELO with one L, and we have both of them here to talk about everything to do with the product. So, gentlemen, if you'd like to unmute your mic and welcome on to Computer America. Thanks for being here. Oh, and I guess they can't hear me for whatever reason. I'm sorry, folks. Kyle and Kyle Marfil, can you hear me? Well, for whatever reason, I'm sorry, but for whatever reason, I unfortunately can't.
Whoa. Okay, we switch. Okay, turn yours off. Oh.
Sorry about this, folks.
Okay, so turn that. We're switching. We had more than one computer on, and so
That'll do
we had
that.
the mute on the wrong computer.
That'll do that. So
welcome,
hi.
welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh no, our pleasure. It was very exciting seeing your name pop up in in the people who want to be on the show. It's like, oh, I know that guy. So
I can't hear you now.
Oh, you can't hear me now. Ooh, jeez. Wow. I could have sworn we fixed all this.
Okay, we're here.
Oh, perfect. All right. Yeah. No. Hopefully you can hear me, guys.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. All right, perfect. So yeah, no, it was very exciting seeing your name in particular pop up because we know you very well here on the show. And Marfil, this is actually a first, but welcome to you as well.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome.
Yeah,
glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no,
we're having technical difficulties, but this is the first time we've done anything like this, so it's sort of weird new experience. I'm just used to listening only.
Right. No, the nation is learning with you. That is okay. But it's glad to have you on. So, and again, listening is one thing, but what brings you onto the show? I mean, what kind of got you started down making your product, and what is your product?
Well, the company, it's 5 years old. I just joined a month ago. And so the funny thing is, I was looking at the product that Phil told me about, and I was curious about it. And I said, I'll tell my favorite computer show about the product and see what they think. And you guys sent me an email the next day and said, why don't you come on the show? And I nearly had a heart attack. So Phil is basically an associate and an independent distributor, and he has his own website, vitalsbyhelo.com. And I created a website for myself, which is lasvegashelos.com. And we're both associates of World Global Network. World Global Network, they've been around for 5 years, and they are just new to America. They just came to America in July. And so the two people that brought it to America, their name is Chad and Natita Chong. Okay. And so a lot of the videos that I have, I think I'm sending you the link. I think you already have it, but I made a page just for Computer America with all the information on it and the different products.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find those because the one that was submitted to us was LV Hello, and yeah, we will include all those links in the show notes as well as soon as I find out which one it is. But
okay, because I made it sort of like a tutorial for you, so you'd have all the links. So I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Sure. Yeah, just send it over in Hangouts, and I'll be able to get it right there. But yeah. So, and Phil, I'm assuming this is going to be your first wearable device, and again, I'm kind of focusing on the Hilo wearable because that's what I thought we were going to talk about, but I'm sure you have more. Where did you get your start in designing wearables and things like that?
Well, we didn't personally design it ourselves. The person that's behind it, his name is Fabio Galdi, and you might as well say that he is Steve Jobs on steroids from what we've heard. And he started the company, and Phil might be able to tell you some more about it than I do. I can, but there's also a person behind it that is basically he's the guy that was on the staff that created the iPhone 6 as well as the iPhone 7. And he came from Apple, left Apple to come to this company. And the main product that we're using right now, everything else is coming online. And the videos that I sent you, they're really great. The different items that we have. One thing that you talked about before on the show a lot with Charles Tyndall was Google Glasses.
Yep.
We have something that's Google Glasses on steroids. But the Hilo product is basically a wearable device that you put on your wrist that's malleable, and it has firmware so it can adapt and change. But once you put it on your wrist, it caters itself to record and look at your vitals. And it also connects to an app that's iOS or Google
Right.
compatible.
Yeah, Global is actually making a patent for its algorithms that's being used in the Hilo itself, which is manufactured by Toshiba with a app-like microchip.
Yeah, no, it sounds like, you know, I thought you were going to come on here and it was going to be a lot of independent names, but, you know, you're throwing around a lot of names that I think people will absolutely recognize. Just the newest one that they need to hear about is, of course, the Hilo product. And by the way, I got your link and I got the website here. A lot of reading material and, of course, a lot of the videos. So if you're watching the video portion, then you will be able to see these as we play them. But yeah, it's you know, again, it looks like such a great device. I mean, the design, really, really great. So let's get started with this. And, you know, why don't you tell us what a smart band is and why Hilo, is Hilo just a smart band?
Because a lot of the smart bands, actually I have a chart that's further down. A lot of the the bands, it's been popular the last couple of years. The Fitbit, one of our saying is basically that it's a Fitbit on steroids, because the Fitbit and the Garmin and the Apple Watch, for the most part, they only do your calories, your steps, maybe your heart rate. And they might be compatible with Android or iOS, but ours does at least 3 times more feature. It has 3 times more features than those. And the thing that I'm looking into, one of the 50,000 careers of my past was social services. So basically, anybody breathing could use this item in some way. And one of the wonderful features of the Hilo is the panic button. And the panic button, basically, you press this button twice and it does a GPS map reading that, say if you're lost or you're in trouble, someone can know exactly where you're at when you press that button. And it sends a message to any guardian that you have, that you assign, to get your information when something happens. So that's something that a senior could use, something that you could have with your children. I came from social services, so I'm thinking of different aspects. Somebody that had to hide from their spouse. Somebody can basically monitor them around the world with the item. So it's a little bit better than the average wearable watch. So we sort of put ourselves in a totally different category because we have so many other features. And that's only a couple of features. More is coming online next year, like checking your blood alcohol as well as checking your glucose. So I myself, I've been pre-diabetic for 16 years. My dad has diabetes and I have a sister that has gestational diabetes. Checking your blood sugar alone is like a phenomenal feature of this wearable device compared to everybody else. You don't have to prick your finger. It's going to tell you where your glucose level is, and it'll report as much as you'd like, from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. You can design it exactly how you want to report your readings, and you can save that and send that to an email to anybody you like, your doctor or your caregiver.
Right. No, it sounds like a lot of information. And I think I've seen products like this when you have all that information and more. Like, I think that one of the reasons why the Fitbit and, you know, the Apple Watch and all these different other devices, they've really narrowed it down to what they believe is, you know, kind of the important stuff. You know, they may not be right, but they're trying to make it simple and easy to use. I mean, you're saying that you could offer 3 times the information. Would a person be able to really kind of analyze 3 times the information? Will they be able to use this, you know, as an average consumer?
Yes. Basically, there's an app that's on your phone. So through Bluetooth, your watch is connected to your phone, and the app on there, you can get a reading on it. It also does an EKG reading that's pretty much the same as what you would see in an ambulance. And the company is working on the certifications and all of that to make it along the lines of medical, but they're doing the beta testing and all that on all the other products to make it able for them to sell it in the United States. But a lot of these products they're using in other states, other countries already.
Yeah, no, it's and again, just to be clear, this is just a wrist because you're saying like breathing rate and things like that. I mean, there's not like a chest strap that you have to strap around yourself, right? It's just the wrist.
It's on your wrist. You don't have to do anything else. One of the things that actually one of the videos shows is when it's doing your EKG reading. After it knows you, I don't think you have to do this one specific thing, but it will. You basically put your finger on the top of the Fitbit, and it will basically do the reading of your blood pressure and your heart rate.
Okay. Very, very cool. No, and yeah, like I said, if you're watching the video portion, there's going to be a number of videos that we kind of play in the background as we continue on here, and yeah, so let's start talking about the smartphone, because obviously you said Android, iOS compatible. Any recent smartphone, or is it only certain smartphones?
Right now, depending on the phone that you have, it does an update on your phone and it checks for compatibility on your specific phone. As I'm sure you know, I'll be honest. I usually get a cheaper phone, and so that if I lose it or crack it, I'm not crying over it.
Right.
And so it checks to see if you're compatible constantly, and then it tries to update your software on your specific phone to see if it'll work. But worst case scenario, you can get a space phone from us. And the space phone is our phone that's pretty much along the same line as Samsung's phone that's blowing up and the Apple phone as well. I believe the price point of our phone is around $500. And we're still waiting for the finals on everything because, as I said earlier, this started in July. So they're trying to get everything up and running Christmas to New Year's. The customer service center should be open, totally open by New Year's. Our distribution center and customer service center is going to be in Utah. It is in Utah, close to one of the universities from what I heard. And it's going to be totally up online. So there shouldn't be any problems trying to get, customer service. Right. But at the same time, when you join the company for free, you can sign up for free. The app also has tutorials on it to explain every single feature. So if you feel that you can't do something on there, you just go to the tutorial and it's going to show you with a little video how to use that specific feature. And another wonderful thing about it is that you could monitor 5 different people with one app.
Very nice. Yeah.
Sorry. What?
No. I 5 different people that obviously makes it suitable for, again, caregivers. Maybe you have multiple patients or multiple kids, and you want to keep track of all of them. One-to-one wouldn't.
That's exactly
right.
what I was thinking about. I mean, it's perfect for so many applications. When I was a caseworker at a nonprofit, now the agency's called Hope Link. It used to be called Henderson Allied Community Advocates Family Resource Center. But basically, anybody that came through the door, they had different needs. They might have had HIV issues, to homeless, or a vet, or disabled, or a senior. Anybody that's breathing could use some of the features on this phone, and at the same time, you could monitor them as they go around the world or around the corner. So. Right. Say you have an elderly grandmother and you're worried about her and she's in a different state. You can do the vitals on her, and if she's afraid or something, she could press the panic button. You could call her. You could have somebody do a visit for her. One of the things that police unfortunately know a lot about is a welfare check, or basically a courtesy check. Mm-hmm. They go. If somebody lives by themselves and family members or friends are worried about them because they haven't seen or heard from them in a couple of days or something, with this app, you can check on the person and make sure that they're all right.
Perfect. No, and Phil, let's bring you in on the conversation because obviously, Kyle, he is kind of pulling on his background to say this is a lot of great applications. You obviously have a different background than Kyle does. What are some of your favorite features of the Hilo device?
My favorite feature is the SOS, which is the main reason it sold me the product because of my son and my wife. He's always constantly at school, a young driver. If anything would happen to him, he would just have to double tap that panic button, and I would exactly know where he is. And I can also check on his vitals to see and give him a call right then and there. And if I have to notify the authorities or get an ambulance over there, I can with his exact location on Google's. It's a phenomenal feature which is unique to Hilo, and I think it's wonderful. My wife, she works really late, and she's always closing up shop by herself. So in case something happens, she can hit that, and I can run to her rescue.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important, and it seems like a lot of these features that are found in some devices. I mean, GPS isn't the newest thing in the world, but having them in such easy to use features, I mean, how hard is it to double tap a button? That makes it very, very convenient. And of course, speaking of convenient, when you have to wear something like this, and I know it's a pain for a lot of people to plug devices in every single night, but what's the battery life of a smart band? Because you're talking about giving this to children, to the elderly, people who may be forgetful or who don't know to charge a device every single day. What is the battery life on the Hilo device?
It's 3 days, Ben. On a full charge, it can last you 3 days without another charge.
Not too bad. Not bad at all. It at least has some wiggle room there for a little bit of forgiveness if you forget it for a day or two. So very, very cool. And why don't we talk real quick about these titanium plates? And I'm assuming the plates are the ones where and again, if you're watching the video, you kind of put your finger on and it checked your heart rate and things like that. What are the supplied titanium plates for?
Basically, different people might use them for different issues.
Okay.
Primarily, there's 3 different type of tiles that you can put on it, and it basically can increase the oxygen in your blood.
Okay.
Up to 300%. The germanium crystal, the germanium stone, the Himalayan salt crystals, and the high-tite crystal as well. So there's 3 different types of little plates that you put on your watch, and it basically increases your blood circulation. So it's another thing that if you have diabetes or you're a senior that deals with circulation issues, us being in Las Vegas, and a lot of people work in the hotels and they're on their feet all day, it helps increase your blood circulation so you don't have as much pain in your joints or your muscles.
Right.
And also, when it comes to, another one of the features, it's sort of like you got a little spa on your wrist 24/7, because if you go to the spas, they have salt treatments and they have rock and stone treatments. That's on your wrist, and each one of the platelets, they last a different amount of time. I believe the stone lasts forever. The salt crystals last 6 months, and the high-tite lasts 3 months.
Very, very cool. And again, we're not showing your guys' video, but I did just see Phil show up there with the wristband. And again, if you're watching the video portion, we have a picture up. But it's these little, look about 1 square inch tiles that fit on the strap of the, strap of the watch, or I'm sorry, the smart band. So you're saying those are easily swappable if someone wants 3 of one or one of each. Completely up to them.
Yes, they just snap in really quick. It's 2 little teeth that are on it, and it goes into the little groove on the watch. So actually, if you feel like you need more, you could add more than 3 tiles.
Okay, I got you now. So they fit into where the where that one tooth that of course secures the band, it just slides into those slots. So okay, makes a lot of sense. And of course, to anyone who's just seeing the band, it's not very intrusive. They won't know you're really wearing it. It's just going to be between you and your wrist.
Yeah, because it's under it, so you don't even notice it.
Right. So, and and we have a couple questions here about, of course, germanium and of course hematite, but I think we just covered that. So, why don't we? And of course, we should talk about side effects as well, or any kind of adverse effects to using these stones. I mean, do you ever advise people not to use certain stones or not to use certain, parts?
So far, we haven't heard of any issues. If somebody has allergies, the wristband, it's hypoallergenic. So for the most part, yeah, we haven't heard of any problems. They're doing the beta testing on everything. Another thing I wanted to bring up is since it's been tested and approved, the failure rate on the Hilo is only 4%. So a lot of the things I hear about is in the 20s and 30s. The guy that came from Apple, some of the information that he brought about the iPhone 6, the failure rate on that was 29%. So our failure rate on this, the first of many products, is only 4%. So out of 100 people, 4 people had problems.
No, that is very important because, obviously if you buy something, and we haven't talked about price yet, but if you're going to drop some money on something, you want to be sure that, hey, it's going to work. That's a very base necessity. So, and again, just kind of scrolling through this site that, there's a lot of different videos, but there was a picture that I was actually interested in, and it looked like there was something. Yep, here we go. What is this kind of? It looks like another plate that snaps on top of the plate, and it has a couple different buttons on its own on top of it. I mean, or does the whole thing just kind of swivel? I mean, what is this picture?
Oh, that's a new one.
That swivels. That's the one that's coming out next year.
Okay.
So the things that they're putting on that one, it will be able to do your blood pressure, your blood alcohol. It also has a guard that's going to keep mosquitoes away from you. I don't know how they're doing that, but that's one of the features. Plus, one thing that when people talk about bands and watches, it'll be a true watch because you can see the digital time on it.
Right.
So it's adding on more features. So some of the features that we're just talking about this year, they'll all be on that unit. And so like if you join and you purchase and they have a loyalty program that's $59, you might as well look at it as the $59. You might as well say that's your phone bill. So when you get that unit, it's going to have all the new features plus the features of this year. So it's basically the updated version of what we're using right now.
I got you. So, okay. And, people are going to have to make that decision, buy now or wait for something better. But hey, that's technology for you. That happens all the dang time. So with that being said, and, you mentioned that this is Bluetooth, pairs with a smartphone. Does this band come with Wi-Fi on its own? Like, can it, update itself or send information? I mean, or is it just strictly Bluetooth?
Well, it's strictly Bluetooth, and it goes back and forth with your phone. So the whole goal is to basically keep every time you have your phone with you. But if it isn't connected to your phone, it's going to record everything that's going on. So once you get back with your phone, it's going to send the message to your phone so you can get a report on what's exactly happening to you.
It's connected by satellite too.
Yeah, satellite. It's connected by satellite.
And Phil, please, if something to add in, please.
All right. I'm just thinking because of my computer problem, we're just going off of one. Yeah. So it is connected by a satellite. So the only time that you're tapping into the signal is with your phone through the app.
Okay. No, makes a lot of sense. So, and why don't we talk? And we are coming up quickly on the break. We have about another minute, but and we're gonna carry over and finish this up. But why don't we talk real quick about, towards the beginning, we talked all about how it had a lot of different readouts for wellness and things like that. There are certain certifications that a company can earn. I'm sure that the company that you're working with is working to get those. But do you foresee this being something a doctor would say, be able to use information off of this for a patient?
Yes, you definitely can through a report. When you're going to see a doctor, you could have it printed out where it's useful for them. But I know the restrictions are we cannot enclose saying it is a medical device.
Right.
It's a life sensing device.
Okay.
You still have to have your doctor,
No, very important distinction, and we really want to make that. But hey, music means we have to take a break. We'll be right back with more Computer America right after this.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Mad? I don't think Dickie D could work for a sane magazine. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the Braun motion sensing exhaust fan. Tech makes it into the loop through the Braun ZB80M bathroom exhaust fan with an integrated motion detector that's factory set. Keep it running for 20 minutes, or you can set that between 5 minutes and an hour. Think about it. How would you automate a lavatory fan? Don't you hate it when somebody's in there and doesn't turn the fan on or leaves without turning it off? You have to move to enter and to exit, and the odds are pretty good you'll move at least a little while you're in there. It's a super quiet fan creating only about a third of a zone of noise level, yet moving up to 80 cubic feet per minute of air. Bottom line, a Braun ZB80M exhaust fan's use of motion detection is brilliant. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 13 minutes past the hour as we continue on here, and we are talking again to Mr. Kyle Thrower and Mr. Phil Regaspi. And I hope I am not messing that up for you. But Mr. Phil Regaspi, and I kind of had to cut you off there, but we were just talking all about the Hilo device, and again, a lot of information that will be included in the show notes. So if you want to check that out, please feel free to. Now, again, just kind of looking through some of the, some of the graphics that you have here on this site. I mean, it promises to do a whole lot. So, I guess my question to you is, we've covered that it's good for kids, it's good for guardians, it's good for things like that. I think I know the answer to this, but guys, who is your target audience with the Hilo device?
I don't know. I guess everybody could use this.
That's what I thought.
But mainly for the the health conscious who wants to have a better lifestyle or just want to take care of their loved ones. I guess family members, parents.
Okay. No, and again, that's exactly the answer that I was expecting. Okay, so and with that, I think we're gonna start wrapping up just what the Hilo device is, but real quick, why don't we talk about some of the more intricate features? Because like you said, breathing rate, heart rate, things like that. I think fitness trackers kind of do passively, but you're offering things that others don't. So how would one say measure blood pressure? Or how would one, I saw the EKG where you kind of had to put your finger on it. What are some of the steps one has to take to get some of this information?
As far as your blood pressure,
Yeah.
you would just have to turn on your Bluetooth and have your Hilo on you.
Okay.
And right now, I don't know if you can see my sign. It's reading my blood pressure as we speak.
Yeah, there it is. It's and of course, for those you can't see, what I'm looking at, it takes about 40 seconds to sense that.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Yeah. No. And it's just that simple. You open up the app, you start it up, and wait 40 seconds.
Yeah. There's no cuff that you have to put on.
Now, and again, you're obviously using the product. Has it ever kind of given you like, oh, your blood pressure is 400 over 320? Well, that's unfortunate. How common are bad readings?
It's in a beta phase right now. It usually happens when there is an update.
Okay.
So of course the app and the Hilo itself has to sync in together, and then once it's done, it's very fairly accurate. My wife's in the dental field. She has a cuff that she checks for me, so I had to calibrate it. And once it's calibrated, it works fine. Very, very precise.
Very, very nice. And we actually have a question here that I guess the Hilo device sometimes sends signals when it's not being worn by anyone. I mean, what are those signals?
Something about signals we cut out.
I'm sorry. We have a question here. Why would someone notice signals on the Hilo device, even if it's not on your wrist?
Basically, it's going to read you you can program it how often you want it to read your vitals.
Okay.
And from there, you could get the email, basically a report that says exactly what's been going on, from time to time, and that's what you could send to the doctor.
Okay.
And he could read exactly, what's happening to you at what time of day.
No, and that was another question I was going to have was, how do you get the information from the app or from the device into something that you can actually share with someone? So you're telling me that it sends.
It's a report that you go in through the app, and you could click on it, and you can have it printed out so you can take it to your caregiver, your guardian, your coach.
Okay, very, very cool. So, and again, we've talked about things like the panic button. We've talked about, of course, the stones and things like that. So, I guess my question is, how much does this thing cost? Because, I think wearables, people are obviously wary of, is this the right one for me? And, do I really need something that, like that on my wrist? So, obviously, you are doing everything that a traditional fitness tracker does, but I guess again the question is, what is the price?
Yeah, only $320 at this time. So that's the same range as all the other devices for the most part. A couple of them are around $20 and some are like around 120.
Right.
But most of them are the Apple Watch and all of that. They're around the $300 range. So we're in the same. I think some are even higher than that.
Right now.
But so you can get basically with the company, you can get one for $320, and then they have a different pack that you buy four and you get one free, and so that's $1,280. Right.
Wow, very, very crazy. No, but in a good way. In a good way, I promise. So no, it's all right. So and again, that's kind of on this chart here, and it shows it's kind of in line with all these others, but of course offers all these different features that the other ones don't. So with that being said, how would people go about getting their hands on one or getting one on their hands?
Just come to our websites. Because as soon as everything comes online, it's going to be on our main website. So if you go to our .com domain name, it'll tie you into us first of all. So if you have any questions, or we can send you specific information, and then you'll go to the corporate website that we have because it's connected to our websites. And then from there, you can buy whatever we have at the distribution center that's ready to sell right now. So right now, we just have the Hilo, but later on, we'll have our our telephones, which is the Space Phone and the Folio.
Right.
And we'll also have our Lumina glasses, which are like they're Google glasses on steroids. So those items are the ones that's in beta testing. We're hoping they come out for Christmas, but they might come out after the New Year's. We're waiting and sweating, waiting to be able to get our hands on them. So if you just go to our website, which is LasVegasHelo.com or LVHelo.com and VitalsByHelo.com. Another thing that we didn't say earlier is HELO stands for Health Oracle Lifestyle. So that's what the name came from.
Health Oracle Lifestyle.
I'm saying it wrong.
Health Lifestyle Oracle.
Oracle.
Yes.
So I'm slipping and saying it. God, I'm still nervous. I've listened to you guys for 12, 15 years, and this is the first time I've been on the show. So I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
No. And I hope, honestly, I really do hope that Computer America played a little part in getting you interested in technology and, getting people excited about technology. That's all about what we do. And, for you to be a longtime listener and now to come on the show with your own product, that's very exciting to us as well. We've been talking about it all over the place.
More than a dream.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Craig earlier, and I was like, today's guest, we have Kyle Thrower on the show, and he's like, where do I know that name from? And I'm like, the chat room. He's like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's very cool to have you on, but it's even better to have a cool product here on the show to talk about. So, again, that's the Hilo device. I'm going to, and again, if you're watching the video portion, I'm going to throw this particular website up in the show notes, and just so you can read everything, see everything, and of course, I see you've even included a link to today's show. So, of course, you can see everything we've talked about here as well. Very, very good. So, with that being said, any closing thoughts? Anything that we didn't touch on or didn't fully explain to you guys?
Yeah, just it's only sold online, so just feel free to visit our sites. Have any more questions? Hit us up on our email. We'll definitely get back with you as soon as we can, and just very excited to have us on the show.
And another thing, with it being online, it's a direct marketed product. So if you email us or go to the website, you can join. Now you can join for free. Basically, you join and you're part of the company, but you don't have to buy the product right then. You can learn and study and get all the general information that's online for anybody that's part of the company. You're basically part of the company. So one thing that I say in a lot of my ads is that imagine owning a Best Buy and a Verizon for free. So if you go to vitalsbyhelo.com or you go to lvhelo.com, you get in touch with us specifically, and we can help you get the right information on whatever's coming online. And since you're part of the company, you'll be getting the same information that we get.
Very, very important. And of course, I will attest to this firsthand that, Kyle as a person, very active and very, very easy to get in touch with. So with that being said, Phil, Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show. And the Hilo device, it looks like something I've never seen before, and I've seen a lot of stuff. So thank you for coming on the show and talking about it. It's been a lot of fun. And, please come back when the company releases that, the version 2, because that one looks like it's going to have even more features, which is, again, exciting.
Absolutely.
Well, and another thing, thank you to System Mechanics and Logitech, because I've being on the show so often, I've won some gadgets, and I'm using one of the keyboards and one of the cameras right now that I've won. So I wanted to say that too. Thank you.
No, thank you for saying that.
Thank you, Phil, for having us.
Thank you, Phil. All right, guys. And again, for anyone here who is just tuned in or just catching the tail end of this, be sure to check out the entire archive of today's show, because it was very, very interesting. So, gentlemen, I'm going to say goodbye, but I want to say thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Bye, guys.
Dude,
Okay.
bye.
All right, and there they go. So again, that was the Hilo product. It's there are many websites that they kind of gave me to include, but if you want to check that out, check out computeramerica.com, and we will have links in the show notes. I'm actually going to update that right now of just where to check it out and all the information that you could possibly need to be informed about this. So, with that being said, I think we should just jump right into computer and technology news to wrap this up because, we have about another 10 minutes before the end of the show week. I know, it came on so suddenly. Hopefully all of you have your turkey ready to go, ready to pop in the oven tomorrow, or whatever vegetarians do as an alternative. And yeah, I say we just start this here with computer and technology news. So let me just get this started, and here we go. Okay, and computer and technology news is brought to you by Computer America, where we try to bring you all the latest in gadgets, policies, tech, news from all the different companies, maybe even tie in a little bit of space in there as well, because, we like doing that. So, with that being said, why don't we start off with, yeah, that's already good like that. Why don't we start off with Google Cast? And this is something that they've tried a couple times, and I guess it worked well enough that they want to do it with everything. Now, Google Chrome and the Chromecast has been a favorite of a lot of people. I mean, it's a great way to turn a television into kind of a smart connected device by simply plugging in this $35 device. And it's kept the $35, which of course makes it very affordable compared to things like the Roku or the Apple TV, things that would cost 3-4 times as much. And the Chromecast has always been a favorite to, just get very basic functionality on a basic television. Well, it turns out that they want to integrate it with more televisions, and it's called Google Chromecast. So, it's as we know it, but Chromecast built in. So, and it's and Google has agreed with you. The company has been phasing out the Google Cast name over the course of recent weeks, both for its own products as well as supporting hardware for third parties like Toshiba and Vizio. And instead, it's increasingly referring to embedded streaming technology as Chromecast built in. So when you go check out televisions, if you're in the market for one, when you see Chromecast built in, that's what they're talking about. It's essentially a Chromecast that is just baked right into the hardware. So, of course, a handful of Google sites, including its Android TV page, still reference Google Cast. It's also less likely to go away for developers. So, but why the name change now, especially when Google actually moved away from the Chromecast label a while back. And they've asked the company for its take. However, it wouldn't be surprising for the matter of brand recognition combined with Google's growing hardware ambitions. They're, of course, referencing the Google Pixel line of phones. So the odds are that you're familiar with Chromecast device, then the code that powers them. So Chromecast built in gives you a clear idea of what's possible and reminds you that Google makes its own streaming equipment. Very, very simple. So it's all about, it's all about that. So with that being said, and by the way, that was by Mr. John Fingus from Engadget. Engadget, great publication. They have a lot of great articles. And I think this time, how about this one? And we have a lot of people on the show who have a lot of different disabilities. And I have come to learn, kind of talking to our listeners and talking to, different people, like when we redesign our webpage, I know we haven't fixed it all. I swear I'm working on it. But to make things accessible for those who are blind, for those who are deaf, and to make them, easy to understand, not the easiest thing in the world, and it does take some effort. So I think a lot of business out there kind of put it off. Well, turns out movie theaters, no longer the case for them. So the Department of Justice saying that cinemas must offer technology for blind and deaf customers. Very interesting, because obviously when you think of a blind person, you think, well, obviously they're not going to go to the movies. And turns out that's a little unacceptable now because, hey, they deserve all the same facilities that, everyone else should. So this is by Mr. Daniel Cooper, again from Engadget, saying that digital distribution means that it's no longer a chore to distribute movies with audio descriptions and closed captioning. So despite this, some theaters have resisted offering the service, cutting out people with disabilities from enjoying the full cinema experience. So that's what's prompted Attorney General Loretta Lynch to sign a final rule affirming that theaters must own, maintain, and advertise disability aids for patrons. So the technology to offer such assistances isn't obscure, with Sony producing the set of subtitle glasses that many businesses already own. And by the way, those subtitle glasses glasses. Wow, I'm awful today. Those are actually very cool. You put them on and you can watch the film, and instead of having all that text at the bottom of the movie, kind of breaking the experience for everyone, you just put on these glasses and they give you the subtitles in your field of view only. So very, very cool. So the technology, of course, displays across the individual eyes, and Regal outfitted almost 6,000 of its locations with the gear. So audio description hardware, meanwhile, involves a specialized FM radio and plays secondary audio feed to people with visual impairments, or blindness. And the regulations aren't onerous or overbearing. And of course, it's not like they need to spend a small fortune to equip their premises out. A single screen only needs to have 4 pairs of glasses and 1 audio receiver, while multiplexes with 16 need 12 and 8 respectively. So there are plenty of exceptions. So cinemas showing analog prints and drive-in theaters are excluded from the ruling. And the move should go a long way to ensuring that everyone can enjoy their trip to the movies. And I mean, I agree to a certain extent, but I think when the movies become an option for people with these disabilities, having 4 pairs of glasses or having 12 pairs of glasses, I think that number is going to have to go up, because right now you only need a handful for the hundreds of people who may be watching a movie. But that's because people with blindness generally don't go to the theater because they aren't equipped to handle them. As soon as they are equipped and start handling them, I can see a day when just having 12 would not be enough. But hey, it's a step in the right direction, which is very important. So good to hear. And for those of you who have hearing impairment or visual disabilities, hey, good news. You may be able to go to the movies. So let's how about this one? And trust me, there is a lot of stuff about politics still. I'm afraid that the politics and the tech commingling isn't going to go away until 4 years from now. Like, I'm honestly afraid that is the case. Let's hope not, but hey, it's at least seeming that way. So, with that being said, this is a story from The Telegraph. Very good publication. And, it sounds too good to be true, so we're going to go together and find out why this is too good to be true. Because, these quantum leaps generally tend not to happen. And the title is Battery Breakthrough Will Let Phones Charge in Seconds and Last for Weeks. So obviously that would change not just phones, but if they could do that, then that would change really society as we know it. The easy distribution and storage of energy is super, super, super important. So here we go. It's and this is by Miss Kara McGugan. There we go. So a new type of battery that lasts for days with only a few seconds charge has been created by researchers at the University of Central Florida. I believe they're the Knights. Yeah, I went to FIU, so, rivals a little bit. And the high-power battery is packed with supercapacitors that can store a large amount of energy. It looks like a thin piece of flexible metal that is about the size of a fingernail and could be used in phones, electric vehicles, and wearables. So, as well as storing a lot of energy rapidly, the small battery can be recharged more than 30,000 times. Wow. And a normal lithium-ion battery begins to tire within a few hundred charges. Sorry, And they typically last between 300 to 500 full charge and drain cycles before dropping to 70% of their original capacity. Of course, it is uncommon for lithium-ion batteries to withstand more than 1,500 charges before it fails. So, and others have put it closer to 7,000, but the point they're making there is that our current technology has some very fatal flaws that make it prime for a new investment, or for a new technology to take over. And of course, to date, supercapacitors weren't used to make batteries, as they'd have to be much larger than those currently available. But the Florida researchers have overcome this hurdle by making their supercapacitors with tiny wires that are a nanometer thick, so very, very tiny. And coated with high energy shell, the core of the wire is highly conductive to allow for supercharging, or for super fast charging. And again, this sounds too good to be true, and they have a research paper out, and they have a couple charts here, but they're saying that the battery isn't ready to be used in consumer devices, but it shows a significant step forward in a tire technology. So separate research into the technology has recently led to the creation of tiny lithium metal batteries that hold twice as many ions, and another nanowire battery that can withstand 200,000 charges. So lithium-ion batteries are commonly used in smartphones, tablets, wearables, but are known for losing capacity over time and can be dangerous. Of course, it was a fault in this kind of battery that caused, of course, the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. As if you needed to tie more buzzwords into this article, why not bring in the recent phone? Now, the only reason I say that this is probably not anything to really talk about, and I bring it up not only because, first, I would truly love to believe that this is possible. This would be super, super, super important for not just so you don't have to charge your smartphone. This would really change society as we know it. But when it sounds too good to be true, it usually is, and they haven't actually supplied any kind of numbers as to how much power you can withdraw, and it doesn't say how they overcame the most important element of a supercapacitor, and that is there's a difference between a supercapacitor and a battery. Whereas a battery will take a long time to charge. That's why your phone takes half an hour to an hour to charge. But then because it takes that long to charge, it's able to slowly release over time the charge that it's built up. So that's why your phone can last 24 hours, 18 hours, 12 hours. Not great, but hey, it's better than what it was. Supercapacitors, they charge in the blink of an eye. I mean, they charge in seconds. But they normally, that is kind of what makes a supercapacitor. They don't hold their charge. They very quickly expend it, just as quick as they store it. So, it may take a few seconds to charge, but traditionally, supercapacitors take but minutes to expend their entire charge. So for them to say that they've invented a supercapacitor that can charge in seconds, I completely believe that, but then is able to hold the charge for days, if not weeks. That's the part where the article is very lacking, and it's very short on details on how they've overcome what is essentially physics. So, yeah, I bring this article up not so much as, hey, don't worry, folks, batteries are about to become much, much better, but more in be skeptical, be cautious when you read stuff like this, because there are a lot of people from a lot of different companies trying to work on the next great battery, but there's a reason why lithium ion, even with all of its flaws, even
90 seconds,
how horrible it is compared to what we really want in a battery, there's a reason lithium ion is still king. It's because it's able to do it in real world conditions. And again, this tiny supercapacitor hasn't even left the laboratory to test, in real world situations. So, yeah, as much as I would like to believe, not so much. Now, with that being said, The robot lady says that we have about 60 seconds here to wrap up the show.
60 seconds.
There we go. And everyone, really, I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving and a great Thanksgiving weekend. Lots of family, lots of food, lots of friends. And be sure to drive safe if you happen to be traveling. This is the busiest travel weekend of the year. And also, remember, tomorrow and Friday, we will have Best of Computer Americas. You can tune in to see which ones they are, but if you've been listening for the past couple weeks, then they should not be new to you. But we'll be back bright and early Monday afternoon as we have brand new Computer America all lined up. So, until then, everyone, I hope you have a great day, great Thanksgiving. Do not overcook that turkey. Very important. And yeah, be safe out there. So, from all of us here at Computer America, happy Thanksgiving.
10 seconds.
See you Monday. Bye, everyone. And everyone watching on the video portion, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope that you join us here Monday for another edition of the Computer America Show. So, with that being said, again, drive safe, be safe, eat safe. Bye, everyone.